I always thought my life was a quiet, predictable routine. I'm a single mom. Work, child, evenings where I try to get a little rest while putting him to bed, and attempt to hold on to a sliver of my own life. It's boring, tiring, and safe. Though sometimes it seemed to me that safe was just an illusion. It all started on one of those ordinary days. I popped into a small coffee shop around the corner to grab a takeaway coffee before work. My son was at his grandma's, and I felt free for at least half an hour. I was standing in line, checking my email on my phone, when someone bumped into my table. I looked up and saw him, a tall man with black hair, a bit disheveled, with eyes that seemed to study me too intently. He looked ordinary, but there was something different in his gaze. He accidentally knocked over my coffee and immediately started apologizing. "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to." His voice was soft but confident. "It's fine," I replied, trying to smile. He smiled back, and it was a real smile, the kind that instantly inspires trust. He handed me a napkin to wipe up the spill. I felt something twitch in my chest, a strange sensation I hadn't felt in a long time. "Can I buy you a new coffee?" he asked, almost shyly. I nodded, and we went to the counter together. That's how our conversation started. He introduced himself as Alex. We talked about coffee, the weather, little things. But then the conversation unexpectedly shifted to the personal. He asked about my son, my daily life, how hard it is sometimes to be alone. I was surprised, but I found the courage to share a bit more. About work, how tough it is to manage on my own, about the fears and joys of motherhood. He listened, really listened. He didn't interrupt, didn't pretend to be interested, he just listened. And that was strange. These days, so few people know how to listen. We exchanged numbers. At first, it was short messages. "How's your day? Did your son sleep well?" But gradually, our conversations grew longer, more intimate. He was interested in every word I said, and I in his. A couple of weeks later, he invited me for a walk in the park. At first, I was cautious. I never trusted men after the divorce, especially after my ex disappeared from our lives without explanation. But something about Alex made me take the risk. We walked, holding hands, and I felt a light tension. I didn't understand why. Maybe it was just the unfamiliar closeness. We laughed, played with my son, and for the first time in a long while, I allowed myself to just be happy. But alongside this joy, there was a slight anxiety. Sometimes I noticed cars slowly driving past us, strangers who seemed to be watching. I chalked it up to imagination until I spotted a man in a black jacket standing too close to the park, observing us. I was about to tell Alex, but he noticed my glance right away. "Don't worry," he said, taking my hand. "Just enjoy the moment." I wanted to trust him, and in that moment, I did. Too late did I realize that trust can be dangerous. A month after we started dating, Alex invited me to dinner at a restaurant. He was serious, almost tense, but I didn't want to ask why. We sat at the table, and he, holding my hand, said, "I need to tell you something." I felt my heart freeze. "My life isn't ordinary. My father is the head of the Mafia. I'm his son." I didn't know what to say. My thoughts stopped. Next to me was my son, and I was holding a man who had just admitted he belonged to a dangerous world. A world with different rules. A world where life was valued differently. "I know it's scary," he continued, "but I've fallen in love with you. I never wanted this to involve danger, but it's part of my life." I looked at him and tried to find something in myself to respond. I wanted to run, to scream, to wrap myself in silence. But more than anything, I wanted to stay. From that moment, our life became a mix of romance and fear. Every meeting was happiness and anxiety at the same time. He brought little toys for my son, read him stories, showed me that even in his dangerous world, there was room for care and love. But the fear never left. Every call from an unknown number, every suspicious person nearby made my heart clench. Every time I thought, what if today is the last day of peace? And yet, love grew. He showed me he could be gentle, caring, despite all the danger around. He taught me to trust, to open up, and to believe that sometimes life can be different. We started hiding our meetings. He taught me to be careful, showed me how to spot danger. But those moments only brought us closer. When he held my hand, protecting me from threats, I felt safe for the first time, not just physically, but emotionally. We spent evenings together. Sometimes we just sat in silence, watching the city lights. Sometimes he told stories about his childhood, about how hard it is to be the son of a mafia boss and still try to live a normal life. He was a complex man, and I fell in love with his strength and vulnerability at the same time. I didn't know what awaited me next. I didn't know what threats his world would bring. But I knew one thing: I couldn't leave. I love him. And strangely, I feel safest next to him, even if this world is full of dangers. After Alex confessed who he really was, I felt a strange mix of fear and attraction. The world that seemed ordinary to me now turned into a series of unknown threats and unexpected romance. The morning after his confession, I couldn't sleep. I sat in the kitchen with a cup of coffee, staring at the empty children's room, and thought, how did I end up in this world? And can I choose love when it holds so much danger? My son ran into the kitchen with his teddy bear, and I smiled, trying to hide the tremble in my hands. "Mom, you're weird today," he said. I kissed his forehead and felt my heart clench with fear. I had to protect him, and now his father figure was a man who lived in a world of danger. That day, Alex came to our home, as always quietly and carefully. He noticed my tension and sat down next to me right away. "You're thinking about what I said," he said softly. "I'm thinking that I'm scared. For me, for my son," I exhaled. He took my hand and said, "I know, but I won't let anyone hurt you. I'll teach you to be careful, but not to lose the joy of life." The first weeks were a mix of ordinary romance and hidden danger. We walked with my son in the park, held hands, laughed, but at the same time I caught glances that promised nothing good. Sometimes I noticed cars following us, people standing too close. Alex always calmed me. "Just ignore it, I'll handle it." But one day, everything spiraled out of control. We were walking down an empty street in the evening after dinner. Alex held my hand, my son walked a little ahead, hopping on the tiles. Suddenly, a black car emerged from the darkness, stopped at the intersection, and two masked men jumped out. My heart froze. "Run!" Alex shouted, grabbing me and my son. Fear burned in his eyes, but also determination. We ran around the corner, Alex pulling me into a narrow alley. I heard shouts from the car and the thud of footsteps. My heart pounded so hard it seemed everyone could hear it. He pressed me to him, whispering, "Don't be afraid, I'm here." In that moment, I realized I loved him not only for his gentleness and care, but for the strength with which he was ready to protect us. After that incident, Alex told me the whole truth about what was happening in his world. His father really was the head of the Mafia, but Alex tried to stay away from it. He tried to live a normal life, but his family's enemies wouldn't leave him alone. And now that I was with him, the danger automatically touched me too. "You need to understand one thing," he said quietly. "This isn't a game. Someone wants to hurt you because I chose you, because I fell in love." I listened and thought about how my feelings for him made me weak and strong at the same time. On one hand, I feared for my son and myself. On the other, I couldn't give up what made me feel alive. We started working together to secure our little world. Alex taught me little tricks: how to spot suspicious people, how to behave to avoid extra attention, how to quickly assess a situation. Every day, we grew together as a team, and the more I learned about his life, the stronger my love grew. But with that came new threats. One evening, as we sat at home, Alex noticed a message on his phone and paled. "It's a warning," he said, showing me a short text. "We know where you are." I felt my heart clench. I thought we were hidden, protected, but reality was different. Alex took us to a safe place, an old country house that his father used as a hideout. There, among empty rooms and old furniture, we spent the night. Alex held me and my son, whispering words of support, trying to calm me, though he was tense himself. I saw his eyes, strong but tired. In them was a struggle, love for me and my son and fear for our lives. The next morning, we started building a plan. Alex decided that my son and I should be far from the city's dangers. We went to a small town where no one knew us. There, we started a new life, hiding from those who wanted to harm us. And yet, even in this safe place, the romance didn't disappear. Alex found ways to show care. He cooked breakfast, played with my son, read him stories. But along with that, I saw the shadow of anxiety in his eyes. Every new message, every strange sound outside the window kept us on alert. One evening, as we sat on the terrace, I asked him, "Aren't you afraid something will happen?" He looked at me, smiled a little sadly. "I am, but most of all, I'm afraid of losing you and your son. I'll never let that happen." Those words made me tremble. I hugged him, and we sat like that for a long time until it got dark. I knew we were in danger, but next to him I felt safe, emotionally, spiritually. I felt I could trust him more than myself. However, reality reminded us of itself a week later. Unknown people arrived in the town, watching us from afar. Alex immediately realized they were new people from his father's world. We hid again, this time in a house with secret rooms and exits. We hid, waited, watched. And that's when I realized my life had changed forever. I could no longer return to my old routine. I was part of his world, dangerous, unpredictable, but filled with love. Alex showed me that you can love even in fear, that you can be happy even if everything around is crumbling. Every day was a test: danger, romance, care, anxiety. Every day I fell in love with him more despite the fear, and I knew that no matter what, I couldn't leave. I chose him, I chose us. And in that choice was my strength. I never thought that one meeting with a person could change your entire life. And yet, Alex did just that. My life turned into a mix of fear, romance, and hidden threats. After we moved to the small town, I felt an illusion of safety. We hid, tried to live a normal life. Alex taught me how to react to suspicious people, how to assess a situation, how to protect myself and my son. But Alex's world was always nearby, a subtle but palpable whisper of danger around every corner. One evening, we sat on the terrace, enjoying a rare calm moment. Alex held my son on his lap, reading him a story. I watched them, and my heart filled with warmth. But at the same time, I felt a shiver of fear. A small phone ring made me jump. "It's a warning," Alex said, checking the message on his phone. I felt a cold drop of sweat roll down my back. The message was just one sentence: "We know where you are." Alex immediately understood. New enemies. His face paled, but he didn't let me show fear. "We need to act fast," he said. We left the house through a secret exit he had shown me earlier. Alex carried my son in his arms and held my hand. We raced through narrow streets, hiding from unknown pursuers. My heart pounded so hard I feared everyone could hear it. We reached an old warehouse that Alex used as a temporary hideout. It was quiet there, but tension hung in the air. Alex hugged me and my son, whispering words of support, though he was tense himself. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay there, listening to my son's even breathing, and thought, what am I doing? I'm alone, but now I'm part of a world that could destroy us at any moment. The next morning, Alex told me more about his life. His father wasn't just a mafia boss. He was a man who built an empire with an iron fist. Alex had been taught to be strong from childhood, but he had his own rules. Never get involved, never let love cloud sound judgment. But he chose me. "I can't let anything bad happen to you or your son," he said. "I know it's hard to understand, but I'm willing to risk everything for you." My emotions were mixed. I loved him, but I was afraid. I trusted him, but I couldn't forget about the death and threats surrounding us. Every day was like a game on the edge, loving, dangerous, unpredictable. A few days later, we learned that the enemies were planning to meet in our town. Alex explained that this was a chance to catch them, but it could also mean danger for us. We had to act quickly. That night, we planned our strategy: hide, secure ourselves, and watch. Alex held my hand as we left the hideout, and I saw a mix of fear and determination in his eyes. I knew I could trust him more than anyone else. We found a safe place in an abandoned house on the outskirts of town. There, we hid for several hours, watching what was happening. Inside me, fear and excitement battled. I saw how Alex carefully checked every window, every door. He was focused, but sometimes he caught my gaze and smiled as if to say, "We'll make it." In that moment, I realized that my love for him wasn't weakness. It was my strength. Even in fear, even in danger, I felt alive. But danger didn't leave us alone. A few days later, Alex received another warning. This time it was closer. A person stood at the gates of our temporary home, watching us. Alex noticed him instantly and acted quickly. We left the place through a secret passage he had shown me earlier. Every time we hid, I felt a mix of fear and thrill. It was a strange feeling. My heart clenched from the threat, but at the same time, it filled with love for the man who was ready to risk everything for me and my son. We started building a new plan. Alex decided we needed to go even farther, to a safe place where no one could find us. We rented a small house on the edge of the forest, far from the city. There, we felt freer, but tension still hung in the air. In this new place, the romance developed even stronger. Alex taught me to shoot, to protect myself and my son, but he also found time for little joys. We cooked dinner together, played board games, read stories. I saw in him not only a dangerous man, but a person with great kindness. One evening, as we sat by the fireplace, Alex said, "I never thought I could love someone so much, but you and your son changed my life." I felt tears in my eyes. "I love you too," I whispered. He hugged me, and I realized, love can be stronger than fear. Even in a world where every second could be the last, we found each other. But our world was still full of threats. We knew this was just the beginning. Alex talked about future plans, about how to protect us, but every day brought new challenges. And the more we trusted each other, the stronger our bond became. I understood that I had chosen a hard path. I chose love, even if it came with danger. And I knew one thing, with Alex by my side, I'm ready to go through anything. Every threat, every whisper of danger, every moment of fear only strengthened my love for him. I couldn't imagine life without him. Even if this world destroys us tomorrow, I chose to be with him today. We thought we had created a safe place away from the city, away from danger. But reality reminded us that the past doesn't let go. That day, Alex was especially tense. His phone vibrated over and over. He showed me short phrases. "We know where you are. Don't think you can hide. Your steps are tracked." I felt fear clench my chest again. My heart pounded as I watched his face, strong, confident, but with barely noticeable tension in his eyes. Alex turned to me and said quietly, "Today they've come closer than ever. We'll have to act." I nodded, though horror raged inside me. My son was sleeping in the next room, and the thought that someone could harm him made me tremble. We drove to a pre-prepared hideout, an old country mansion where Alex knew every corridor, every door, every trap. It was safer there, but tension hung in the air like thick fog. "I need to show you something," Alex said, leading me down a long corridor. We descended to the basement, where he opened a hidden door. There was a room with monitors and maps, a place where he monitored the situation in the city, his family's enemies, and any potential threats. I stood stunned. "You monitor all this," I exhaled. I have to protect you and your son," he replied. In that moment, I realized, love and danger are inextricably intertwined in our lives. Every step he took, every thought was aimed at keeping us safe. Over the next few days, we developed a strategy. Alex explained that the enemies were planning something big, possibly kidnapping or blackmail. We needed to act before they made the first move. He taught me not only self-defense, but also stealth strategies. I learned to be attentive to every sound, every movement, every message on the phone. I never thought I could adapt so quickly, but love makes you stronger than you can imagine. One evening, as we sat on the terrace together, Alex said quietly, "If tomorrow everything happens as I think, we'll have to trust each other more than ever." I nodded, feeling tension pierce every nerve. We sat in silence, but in that silence was everything: fear, love, trust, and readiness for battle. The next morning, Alex received a message from his informants. The enemies were approaching. Their target was him, and therefore us with my son too. "We need to be ready for the worst," he said. "But I won't leave you, I'll be with you." I felt my love for him grow with every second, despite the fear. Every time he held my hand, I knew, this is my choice, to be with him even if it's dangerous. When the enemies approached, we hid in the old house, using all the tricks Alex had taught me. We watched them through cameras and small windows. My heart pounded so hard I feared it would give away our position. Alex held my shoulders, whispering, "Calm down, we're together and that's what matters." That night, when the enemies retreated, I felt not only fear but incredible relief for the first time. We survived, and we were together. But danger didn't leave forever. Alex explained that the enemies would seek new ways, new opportunities to get to us. We knew this was just the beginning. And yet, despite the fear, our love grew. Alex showed me that even in a world full of threats, there's room for joy. We laughed, played with my son, cooked dinner, told each other stories. Every moment was precious. I realized that I had chosen a hard path, but I chose love. Love that makes you strong even in fear. Love that makes your heart beat faster when the person you're willing to risk everything for is nearby. And when I looked at him, at the one who could be my savior and my nightmare at the same time, I knew one thing. With Alex by my side, I'm ready to go through anything. Every day, a test, every night, a new battle. But our love is stronger than fear. And I knew this was just the beginning of our story, full of danger, intrigue, and incredible passion. From the moment we left for the country house, every day seemed like a test. Alex was constantly tense. His eyes scanned every message on the phone, every movement outside the windows triggered an instant reaction. I watched him and thought, I love this man, but I'm afraid for us, for myself, for my son. A few days after the last incident, when the enemies retreated, Alex noticed something strange in the city we had moved from. "Someone's watching us," he said quietly, showing me strange photos sent by one of his informants. The pictures showed me and my son, with silhouettes of people nearby who seemed to be observing every step. I felt cold fear. My heart clenched as I thought we couldn't be safe anywhere. "We'll have to act," Alex said. "This is just the beginning. They'll seek new ways, new opportunities." I nodded, though horror raged inside me. My thoughts raced. How to protect my son? How to protect myself? How to trust a man who lives in a world full of danger, where every mistake could cost a life? Alex developed a plan. We needed to split the enemy's attention, create the illusion that we were still in the old city, and move to a new safe place ourselves. He explained that it was risky, but the only way to stay alive. We gathered at night. Alex held my hand, whispering words of support, and I felt my love for him grow with every second. We walked through the forest, hiding from potential pursuers, and every step was a test. In the hideout, we found an old house that Alex knew as safe. There, we hid, checking every door, every window, every crack. I saw concentration and tension in his eyes. He was both strong and vulnerable, and that made him even more attractive to me. "You shouldn't be afraid," he said as we sat together on an old couch. "I'll be with you. We'll get through this together." I felt tears welling up in my eyes. "I love you," I whispered, holding his hand. He smiled, but there was anxiety in his eyes. "I know, and I love you too, but we need to be ready for anything." The next morning, Alex received a new message. "We know where you are." This time the threat was more specific. It mentioned my son's name. My heart clenched. I couldn't believe someone could threaten my child. Alex saw my fear and said, "We'll handle it. No one will touch you or your son." Throughout the day, we checked all possible escape routes. Alex was methodical and determined. He explained that the enemies were planning a major operation, possibly kidnapping, to force him to back down. We had to act first, or they'd trap us. I felt a mix of fear and thrill. My life had turned into a series of tests, and every time we survived, my love for Alex grew stronger. I understood that I had chosen a hard path, but this path was with him. That evening, Alex suggested we discuss the escape plan and protecting my son. We sat together, holding hands, and I saw in his eyes the same love I felt myself. He explained how we'd act, what steps we'd take to secure ourselves. I listened, absorbing every word, and realized my life completely depends on him. When night fell, Alex said, "We need to act now." We drove to a pre-prepared place, hid in an old warehouse where Alex planned to watch the enemies. I held my son in my arms, my heart pounding, but next to me was the man I trusted more than myself. In that moment, I realized that love and danger are inseparable. Every step, every decision, every second of life. A test, but we're together, and that's what matters. With Alex's help, we were able to track the enemies, anticipate their actions, and bypass the trap. It was a nerve-wracking game where the stake was our lives, but we survived, and we were together. After everything that happened, we returned to the hideout. Alex hugged me and my son, whispering words of support. In that moment, I realized that our love isn't weakness, but strength. It makes us stronger than fear, danger, and any threats. I knew that many more tests awaited us ahead, but now I was ready. Ready to be with him, to love him, to trust him, even if the whole world is against us, even if danger pursues every step. We spent the night sitting together, hugging each other. I looked at Alex and saw everything in his eyes: love, care, determination, readiness to protect us at any cost. And I knew I had chosen right. Yes, our life became full of danger, intrigue, and moral tests, but I loved Alex, and that feeling was stronger than anything. Even if tomorrow brings a new threat, I'm ready to face it next to him. Every second spent with him was a test and a gift at the same time. We survived fear, threats, intrigue, and every time we stayed alive, our love grew stronger. And I knew one thing: with Alex by my side, I'm ready to go through anything. Even if the whole world tries to separate us, our love is our shield. After that event, Alex told me he had decided to completely sever ties with his family's dangerous past. He wanted a new life, our life, without threats, without intrigue, without fear. We started building a new reality, calm, safe, but still filled with love. Every day was a gift. We walked together, laughed, played with my son, created our little rituals of happiness. I understood that the love born in chaos and danger had now become our strength. Alex was not only my protector, but my partner, the person I trusted completely. A few weeks later, we moved to a quiet house outside the city. There were no more threats, no pursuers, no shadow of the Mafia world. Just us, our son, and the feeling that had survived all the tests. One evening, we sat on the veranda watching the sunset. Alex held my hand, my son played nearby. I looked at them and thought, I went through fear, through threat, through chaos, and I chose love, and it won. He looked at me, smiled, and said, "You know, I never thought I could be happy so simply. But with you, I realized that everything is possible." I smiled, feeling tears of joy welling up in my eyes. "Me too," I whispered. We sat like that for a long time until it got dark, hugging each other and feeling that now nothing could separate us. The love that was born in danger had now become our shield, our strength, and our reality. And I knew one thing: we went through everything. We survived, we loved, we trusted, and now our life was ours. Every threat, every intrigue, every fear now seemed part of the past. We survived the chaos, and in the end, love won. With Alex by my side, I was ready to go through whatever the future might bring. And in that was my strength.